I am doing another video to introduce my dolls, and it's similar to another video in the sense that I'm introducing pairs because in my display a lot of dolls are paired off. And I'm starting with Logan on screen for a couple of reasons. The main one being he got a new outfit today, so I'm going to put it on him. And another reason I thought it'd be good to start with him is because after I was only collecting Courtney's collection and then Claudie, he was the doll, if I remember correctly, it's all kind of a blur. He was the first doll I got after, and I decided I was going to put a few dolls in the bottom cabinet over there, if you can see it. And I don't know what mental gymnastics I did to justify buying another American Girl doll when I literally had nowhere to display anything because I've always collected and I had other collections at the time before these dolls took over my living room. Um, but before I knew it, I had 5 dolls or 4 dolls on display with him. There were 5 in that case, and it was just downhill from there. So now that I've said all that, let me put on his new outfit, which is in spite of myself. So this is a handmade. I don't know if I already said that, but I got it from an American Girl Canada group on Facebook. And I bought from this particular doll clothes artist before. So I was very excited to get another outfit. And what I was starting to say is that in spite of myself and me constantly telling myself, I don't need to have a mini me because there's always a doll in everything I collect who looks like me, which is what Logan is. And despite saying that and knowing that, I am kind of turning him into a mini me. Um, and I bought the doll, Logan, from someone locally, and that particular seller had a lot of things for us. So she always has a lot of stuff for sale. I bought a lot from her since. And I'll get into it a little bit later, but in my first batch of stuff that I bought from her, it was Logan and some of Tenney's outfits. And to be honest, I just wanted the doll. I didn't know where I was going to put him because I had something in the bottom case already back there, what I mentioned. So I literally threw him in a closet because he was complete in his box. And I was just like, he was like beckoning me. So I'll figure it out later, is what I told myself. I'll figure out how to display him, where to put him. And it wasn't until I walked into Indigo when they were having some random extra 30% off item sale. And they had a few dolls that, because obviously before you buy a new doll, you're researching the company and researching the different things they have. There were a few dolls I fell in love with, who I will actually talk about in this video. I'll introduce in this video. And when I walked into, they were discontinued. So I was like, okay, I'm never gonna be able to get them. Maybe one day I'll join a Facebook group and figure out who to buy them from. And then I walked into the Indigo that day and I saw that there were a lot on sale. And I went digging around in those shelves and I found 3 of the dolls that were at the top of my wish list. My wish list of a doll line I was not going to collect. I was absolutely not going to collect this doll line. But they had them. So I was like, okay, I already have Logan. Let me take home these other 3 dolls. I'll keep the receipts and I'll think about if I really want to start this. But I don't really have to start it. I can just put them in that case and leave them there. Famous last words of every collector out there. So technically, even though I say I started with Courtney or with Claudie, it might actually be Logan who I really, really started with because Courtney's collection was part of another line I collected, and that's how I justified it. And then Claudie to me was part of my Tiana collection, and I have if you've seen my living room display for my American Girl collection, it's nothing compared to my Tiana collection. So I put Claudie in my room for, I don't know, it must have been half a year to a year. I don't even know. I just put her on a shelf and said, oh, it's okay. This is just another Tiana doll. And what I know I'm jumping topic a little bit here, but because as his outfit's coming together, very cute. Because what I was saying about slowly but surely making Logan into a mini me is he's about to wear an outfit. He's now wearing an outfit that is something I would totally wear. Okay, let's see if you think it's as cute as I do. Because I'm always wearing hats, if you've ever seen any of my other videos or even this one. But I wear hats every day too, like out in public. I can wear hats at work, etc. and he's got Mickey Mouse on his sweater, which is, I don't even think I saw it. I must be so blind to seeing Mickey Mouse because I'm such a lifelong Disney fan that I more so noticed the name brand than the Mickey Mouse. So it's perfect that he's got on this Disney sweater if he's going to be, as he's slowly turning into a mini me. And when I was younger, I was badly obsessed with video games. So I got him, when American Girl put their Xbox playset on sale, I was like, it's the perfect time to buy one. That'll be his display eventually. I'll figure out where to put it someday. But when that chair showed up, it was massive. It did not fit in my Detolf dioramas. So I was grateful for the headset and the other little pieces that he came with that I could set him up with, but I didn't know what I was going to like sit him on, what was going to be the full thing. He couldn't like stand and play video games. I never did that anyway. So back to another one of Indigo's sales, they had this TV set on sale. So I was like, okay, this will fit. I took the measurements and I knew exactly what needed to fit. And so that was my next purchase for that diorama. But what I also already had, sorry, I can't multitask. So who I also had in those first few dolls I got because they were on sale, they ended up costing me, I think, 65 Canadian after the sale. One of them was the first Sonali Truly Me as a boy doll. So to me, he's I would say probably racially ambiguous, but I saw him as Indian because I've said this in many other videos, so I'm sorry if you've watched more than one video and I'm so repetitive, but my partner's Indian. So I named him Rohan to go with Logan, and their names are kind of similar, like they're just off by a couple letters, but that was not on purpose. So that became a better diorama because if you've ever seen those Xbox chairs, I'm talking about the furry one that they went on sale, they're really like, they're just such an awkward shape and size. And I ended up buying a second one because I wanted a headset for him too so that they could both be playing because it only comes, some pieces are for 2-player and some are just like the headset, which is the most important part, for 1-player. So this is Logan and Rohan. And if you've seen my room tour, doll room tour, then you've seen that I have it set up like a little video game room. So now I can put them aside and move on to the next pair of someone I haven't introduced yet. And this was another one of my first few dolls. And her name is Macy. So she's been multi-purpose in my collection. She goes in my Halloween display. As you can see, she's wearing Tenney's meat outfit because when I bought Logan, that was one of the pieces I wanted because I already had this doll and I liked the outfit. But I didn't really like Tenney because when I first got into American Girl, I was not feeling the classic mold at all. I didn't mind it so much on the boy dolls, and maybe because I'm male, I was about to say a boy, but I'm male, I'm a man. I think I was easier to gravitate to the boy dolls. And I think it might have been a little bit to do with the teeth being, the teeth showing and stuff like that. So when I got the Tenney pieces, it was just the clothes that I wanted. I was going to put it on other dolls. And I because of her hair and she's like a country bluesy kind of singer. Her name is Macy Brown, as a little bit of a play on an old singer from the early 2000s named Macy Gray. And I wanted someone to be able to jam with her. So I got this Truly Me doll and put her in the other Tenney outfit that I got. I'd originally put this on her, but she didn't look good. And so this guitar I was able to find on eBay with this microphone. I think it was part of a karaoke set or something. And she's wearing a mapley jean jacket, which is why it literally looks like a mini jean jacket. But she's not one of the first few I bought. I bought her as a companion piece for Macy. So I named her Tnie, which I think, if I remember correctly, it was sort of like an homage to Tenney, because I really thought I would never have Tenney or any classic dolls. I don't, off the top of my head, remember who my first classic doll was, but it was a long time before I got one. And I think for anybody who took a while to warm up to American Girl dolls, if they collected other dolls, it was that classic mold. And I think the older classic mold is cute, but they've changed it in a way that's not a lot of. Eh, it takes a lot to grow on you. I'll put it that way. But I have, I think, 15 classic mold dolls now, and so obviously I've warmed up to it, just like I warmed up to the other dolls. So that's Macy and Tnie, who I almost accidentally called Tenney. And now I can move on to the next pair, which is this is another kind of special doll, because when I was getting into American Girl, my partner, whom I've already mentioned, I was like, oh, look, come watch the Good Morning America special. It's their new girl of the year is, and then I let him watch, and he's like, oh, she's Indian. And so I feel I was like my way of making him like kind of embrace it, because I was like, I know I'm about to go on this downward spiral, so you're about to be surrounded, so let's think of a way to uh, warm you up to the idea. And uh, one thing I wanted to say, if I had a channel back then, if I was making these videos back then, I was showing him some of the reviews I'd watched where people talked about Cavy being, I don't know, I don't remember the way they worded it, but saying how, because Bollywood has this way of pushing fair skin beauty standards. And so it's almost like giving a negative message that they made Cavy, who is, canonically Indian, making her fair skin. And when I explained that to him, he kind of was like, why would people in the West think that? Because we have a tendency in the West to stereotype Indian people or South Asians as being very dark skinned when they have a very wide range of skin tones. So he actually, if I understood him correctly, and I shouldn't speak for somebody else, but he said it was like a good thing that, there's a doll out there that's going against the stereotype that we have in the West, because, he's only lived in Canada for about 6 years now. So there was a lot of things he learned when he came over here that he had no idea. And so I feel like that makes her like a special doll to me. That's one of the things I like about her, because I have other either Indian dolls or Indian coated dolls, and they have a wide range of skin tones. Like, as you can see with Rohan beside her, I'm looking at the monitor, sorry. He's not much darker than she is. Um, Not to say that he's supposed to be Indian. He's racially ambiguous. You can make him whatever you want. So that's a rant I've been wanting to have or say about Cavy for a while, is that, it's not a bad thing, and all different types of representation matter. And so that's, I think, a really positive thing about her, because if you look at Sonali, she had, I think in the story, she's only half Indian and half white, and she's got a deeper skin tone. So, there's representation for that, and there's representation for us to like, for non-Indians, sorry, to look at her and go, oh, that's true. We do stereotype. Not everyone, but some of us do. And that's just a little rant that may or may not appeal to you. um, and another thing that's special about Cavy to me is her best friend in my doll canon is Layla. And I said this a little bit in my doll room tour, that they're the only two girls of the year who came out in the same year, because she was the 2023 doll. She's 2024, but she came out in 2023. So, I mean, I didn't look extensively into this, but I think it's the only time that that's ever been a thing. So it makes me feel like they're bound to be BFFs. And so that's how I've always paired them. And the reason I liked Layla right away is because she has one of my favorite color combos. I love orange, period, but I love it with certain colors, especially fuchsia. So I had to give her any form I could. So she's got on her, I think, a mix and match of her meat outfit and her riding outfit. No, I think it is just her riding outfit and then her meat accessories. I lie, because she was in this since day one, since I've had her, that I forget. And I did buy a few other pieces from her collection and Cavy's collection, which I gave to other dolls. So I think they are kind of prominent in my collection, even if the dolls are just there. They don't have like their worlds the way some of my other dolls do. But you'll see them all over my collection. And the way I have them displayed is they are one of my favorite display pieces at Jenny's ice cream shop. And again, it's more orange and more like the fuchsia and the colors coming together. And I'm going to try to set them up the way it kind of is on my display before I take this out of here, because it's a lot. And so this is one of the pieces. Or let me give them their dogs, so their dogs are part of the display too, just to get a whole idea of what it looks like. Jenny's is one of the pieces that doesn't ship to Canada. So in order for me to get it, I had to have it shipped to UPS in Buffalo. I talk about this a lot, so I'm sorry to everyone who's heard me say this 15 times already. I think this is my 16th video. So I had to have it shipped, go pick it up, take it up the border. You know, you tell them how much you spent, and sometimes they'll make you pay customs. Sometimes like, thank you for being honest of how much money you spent, and they just let you through. And I think this one of the times they just let me through, because I bought a lot on that trip as well. So definitely one of my favorite pieces, one of my favorite scenes, and two of my favorite girls of the year. I think they would be my number one and number two girls of the year. Which makes her sound like second best, but Cavy I also had first. And let me get this out of the way, because I have two more dolls to introduce. And then this rambling video will be over. So I'm going to put Cavy over here. And oh, another thing about Cavy is when she first came out, everybody was calling her Cavy, I think, Cavy. And so I kind of imitate the way my partner says it, where it's like Cavy, and the K is cut short because there's no H in there. It's not Cavy, it's Cavy. So sometimes if you hear me, it's like, why does he say her name so weird? It's because I'm sort of like copying the way my partner, who speaks Hindi as a first language, would say it. And now my last pair for this video. First, I'm going to introduce Divia, who is, she's sort of like an overachieving student. So she wants to be president, school president, and her only competition in the school. So she's wearing, I think it was the SAC, Student Activity Council outfit, which I had for a long, like I had this outfit way before I started collecting American Girl, because I had given it to a Disney Elite Forever doll, and then another type of doll, which I'll talk about in another video one day. I really will, because I bring it up all the time. So I had this, and so she was one of the first five who were sitting up there, because she was on sale. I got her for like, I don't know, it was like between $50 and $60 after tax and everything, Canadian, so that's really cheap. So I had this outfit, and I just thought it all came together that she would be some, trying to get all straight A's, and, wants to get into the best college and university. And, everything is going her way until there's a new student who comes to the school named Zada. And she's sort of like an exchange, like her family just moved from Afghanistan. So she's also, great at everything, like the valedictorian type of student. And so instead of competing, they decide to go for co-presidents. I know I have to have all these stories in my head about my dolls, but it's just like, that's part of the fun for me, is coming up with characters. So this is Zada, or Zara, but Zada. And one thing about her is when she arrived, oh, I should also mention that she's one of the bald dolls. I originally had put this on the doll who Truly Me 108 before she had the eyelashes, 82, 81. But the hair, there was so much hair that it was bulking up everywhere. So I decided to take this outfit and put it on one of the bald Truly Me the dolls with no hair, I forget what they call them, no hair dolls. And I ordered her online, and when she arrived, I was so disappointed because she has an offset eye, but and I was like, oh, I need to exchange her. I need to return her, because they sell them more online. But the more I looked at her, the cuter she became. And I just want to show her close up, because maybe it's just me. Maybe it's like that, mother's love or father's love or whatever. I just think she's so cute with her offset eye. So I couldn't exchange her. She's perfect to me. And so sometimes I do like the offset eyes, and sometimes I hate them. It all depends on how it comes down. So now, out of all the dolls that I've introduced outside of my doll room tour, I've done almost every, no, I'm saying that, but then I keep thinking of more that I need to do. So there will be still a few more videos, I guess is the point of what I'm about to say. And I'm trying to do videos pretty frequently because I have so many on my list that I want to share, to upload. And it's like that list keeps growing, not just because I get new dolls and because I think of new doll videos I want to do, but because, you know, there's always something coming up. So if my account seems a little bit spammy for a while, I hope it will calm down eventually and that it won't be so rambly all the time. But it is a lot of fun sharing these dolls and explaining their stories, because the people who sit through these videos, I'm very grateful for your comments and for your patience. And I'm glad that you like my dolls almost as much, or maybe as much as I do. So thanks for watching if you watched again. Okay, bye.